The phone in your hand, the one you paid hundreds, maybe over $1,000 for, was never designed to last forever. In fact, it may have been designed to slow down, not because of age, not because of wear and tear, but by deliberate design. You felt it. That once lightning-fast iPhone that opened apps in a blink now stutters, freezes, or takes just a bit longer than it used to. Most people assume it's just getting old. But what if the truth is more calculated? Back in 2017, Apple was caught in a controversy that confirmed what millions suspected for years. Quietly, without warning users, they pushed software updates that throttled the performance of older iPhones. Their reason? To prevent unexpected shutdowns caused by aging batteries. But they never told users. They didn't offer a choice. The phone just got slower, on purpose. It wasn't a bug. It wasn't an accident. It was a feature. And it was hidden. The result? Millions of users believed their phones were failing and rushed to upgrade. And what does that mean for Apple? Record-breaking sales, year after year. The perfect loop. Release a new model, slow the old one, and watch the upgrades roll in. Genius for business. A nightmare for trust. The scandal, later dubbed Batterygate, led to global outrage. Lawsuits followed. Apple was forced to pay hundreds of millions in settlements and quietly introduced battery health features so users could at least see what was happening. But the damage was done. People started asking questions. How much of what we experience is real? And how much is engineered? Because if one of the most powerful tech companies in the world could deliberately slow down your device without telling you, what else could be hiding in that glossy little rectangle? When the truth came out, Apple's explanation was carefully worded, measured, clinical. They claimed the throttling was necessary to prolong the life of older devices and prevent unexpected shutdowns due to degraded batteries. Technically, they weren't wrong. But that wasn't the issue. The problem wasn't the fix. It was the secrecy. No warnings, no settings, no permission. Just a silent update that made millions of iPhones crawl. And here's where it gets deeper. The average user doesn't replace their iPhone because the battery dies. They replace it because the phone feels slow. It lags when opening apps, animations stutter, typing has a delay. It's death by 1,000 glitches. And when that happens, you don't question the software. You blame the phone. You assume it's outdated. You believe the only fix is a shiny new upgrade. Exactly what the company wants. Apple isn't alone. Other tech giants have flirted with similar tactics. Subtle nudges that degrade the user experience over time. App updates that demand more memory. Operating systems that prioritize new hardware. It's called planned obsolescence, and it's not new. But in the digital age, it's evolved into something far more invisible. You don't see parts breaking. You feel the experience slipping. What's worse? Most of this is legal. The fine print of software licenses gives these companies enormous power over your device, even after you've paid full price. And unless you're reading every system log, every patch note, every hidden setting, you'll never know what changed. Only that your once trusted device just doesn't feel the same anymore. This isn't about conspiracy. It's about control. About how much say you really have over the tech you own. Because when a billion-dollar company can silently rewrite the rules on your phone, maybe you never owned it to begin with. By the time users realized what was happening, the damage wasn't just technical. It was psychological. People began to question everything. Was it the battery, the processor, the apps? Or was it something hidden deep in the update they just installed last night? That creeping doubt worked exactly how it was designed to. It shifted the blame away from the company and onto the consumer. Maybe it's just me. Maybe my phone's just old. Maybe I really do need the new one. And then came the marketing. Sleek, polished commercials showcasing the latest iPhone. Faster, smoother, longer battery life. The very problems your current phone was struggling with. Magically solved by the next upgrade. It wasn't just selling a product, it was selling relief. And in that moment, it didn't feel like you were buying something new. It felt like you were escaping something broken, something frustrating, something that felt just a little too slow. But here's the thing. Those phones didn't suddenly become obsolete. They were designed to last. The chips were powerful. The hardware was durable. What changed wasn't the physical device. It was the software environment crafted around it. New iOS updates demanding more power. New apps optimized for the latest models. Background processes your old phone never had to deal with before. It's like updating a car and suddenly realizing the roads have been redesigned to favor newer engines. Behind the curtain, it's all part of a cycle. Annual releases, limited support timelines, silent throttling. The system isn't broken, it's engineered, and every year it resets. A promise of speed and power until the next slowdown and the next buy. The real question isn't why your phone is slowing down. The question is, how much of it was your choice, and how much of it was decided the moment you bought into the cycle. The pushback finally came, but not from tech companies. It came from users, from lawsuits, from investigations in Europe and the US. Apple paid over $500 million in settlements, but for many, the payout wasn't justice. It was confirmation. Confirmation that the slowdowns weren't just paranoia, that their frustration had a source, that trust had been broken by the very brand that once promised, "It just works." In response, Apple added a battery health section in settings, letting users see if performance management was being applied. A nice gesture, maybe. But it didn't change the fact that millions had already upgraded devices they didn't need to, based on a decision they were never informed about. And while the lawsuits made headlines, they didn't change the system. The cycle still runs. New phones, new updates, new slowdowns. But something else changed. Awareness. Consumers started asking smarter questions. Tech reviewers began testing older models alongside new ones, exposing performance drops. Entire YouTube channels were built on holding companies accountable for silent throttling, surprise patches, and hidden limitations. And slowly, the narrative began to shift. People realized that owning a device didn't mean controlling it, that a phone isn't just hardware. It's a gateway to a tightly controlled ecosystem where every update has a motive. Now, more users hold off on upgrading. Some replace batteries instead of phones. Others jailbreak or disable updates entirely. The fight isn't just about tech anymore. It's about choice, about ownership, about whether the device in your pocket belongs to you or to the company that programmed its limits. Because when a tool you paid for slows down not due to age, but due to someone else's strategy, what does that say about the future of consumer rights? And maybe the scariest part isn't that your phone slows down, it's that it was always meant to.